All right.
Hey, Kevin.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the start of season 3, episode 1 here for the this next go around of the Last Things Last podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Myers, joined as always by MJ Nisgoda and Justin Mandia. Say hi to the listeners, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hey, everyone. Ooh, Kev, what are you drinking there?
This is called the Shiphead
Whoa.
American Wheat Ale from local brewery Logboat. Shout out Logboat here in Columbia.
By the way, I tried. You guys ever been to Al's?
Oh yeah, on the West Shore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have like all of Pizza Boy Brewery and stuff. I ventured in there and tried some of their beers. They're actually quite good.
Yeah,
and the
dude.
pizza
Then they
was
have a
good,
ton.
too.
Yeah,
And
they
the
have a
pizza was
ton of
good.
stuff. When I first opened up, I went over there with my brother. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a lot to dive into, boys. So happy New Year! Glad to see you both are healthy. We've got a lot.
God, I have to get a tooth out.
We've got a lot. Well, that's your fault because you don't know how to drive. So now we're going to go ahead. It's from his accident.
It's
so,
fair.
Yeah. So what we're going to blow past that for a second. First of all, I do want to kick off this episode by saying congrats to USA Hockey winning the World Juniors.
By the way, what was up with the photo they took the other night that everyone was all in uproar about? I'm very confused about that.
So there was a trash can with the Canadian logo on it.
Oh,
And we all assumed what you're thinking right now. Apparently, and this is probably just BS to get out of trouble, but they were like, no, we've had this mantra, just one barrel at a time, keep knocking them over. So we brought out this barrel. I was like, okay, no, you're saying Canada's garbage. We know exactly what you're doing right now.
Bold statement. Okay.
So America, gold medal winners, man.
I looked at that photo for like 10 minutes and I'm like, someone in the comments has to tell me what I'm missing here. Nope, not one person saying it. I'm like,
You're
why?
looking for hand signals. You're like, what are they?
I was watching the broadcast because they went into it right after the game, and they're out there. They took their picture, and then all of a sudden, this guy's pushing a blue trash can onto the ice. I was like, does that have the Canada logo on it? Yes, it did. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Now that all makes complete sense.
There's a classic American move.
Speaking of trash cans, Kevin.
Oh yeah, good segue.
Speaking of trash
Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Birds, as y'all call them. This is MJ and Justin's favorite squad, of course. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy this one and kind of moderate it. So here's the deal. The Eagles coming off a catastrophic 4-win season. A lot of issues
and a half,
the board.
4.5. Get it right.
We got a tie in there.
Fair enough. My bad. 4.5 wins. Good job. From the coaching on down to the injury issues yet again to the Carson Wentz drama, I'm going to go ahead and start with this question for both of you guys. Is this more on Doug Peterson or more on Carson Wentz? MJ, you first. Let's go, baby. I know what's going to happen.
I dislike them equally.
MJ, if are we free agents technically for fandom? I'm about one season away.
Yeah, I am about to have a minute. If this happens next season, I will have a breakdown, and I'll probably become a Jaguars fan.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'll pick a team I know is going to disappoint me.
All right, I'm actually going to go a few seasons back here. To the year that we won the Super Bowl, I'm going to blame a lot of this on Doug Peterson. He wins a Super Bowl on the luckiest run in the playoffs you could possibly have. Our backup came in, played lights out. He has played garbage everywhere else he's been except with the Eagles.
And honestly, with the Eagles for most of the time,
yeah.
too.
So I mean, it was the stars aligned perfectly. We played amazing football, the underdog mentality, everything. And then this man goes and writes a book about winning a Super Bowl, I believe called Fearless, I think was the name of the book.
I have it somewhere.
Yeah. He writes a book. He fell into a Super Bowl. He literally fell into a Super Bowl. And he writes a book as if he's Bill Belichick. And from then on out, I think he's in the mindset that he's this football genius, and he's not. A lot of the credit to that season, the development of Carson Wentz, has to go to Frank Wright. He was amazing. I mean, look what he's doing with the Colts. I did not expect the Colts to even be half decent this year. I will blame more on Doug Peterson for the play calling, for the arrogance, and then just the end of this year proved it without. When he put Sudfeld in, I was just like, to secure the 6th pick over the 9th? Who cares? Like,
and just the way they did it, and
Oh,
I have a
still-
whole thing on
we-
that.
We're gonna pick Jalen Rager again anyway. So
It was so trash.
who cares?
But I don't even care about the picks because another person I think deserves a lot of blame is Harry Roseman, who has royally screwed up every draft.
Well, I'll let you get it. I'll let you get into that.
Okay,
But I want to
okay.
keep it right
I
on the
will
tracks here.
I will blame Doug Peterson more. I think Wentz deserves a lot of
Wow.
blame, but dude, I'm over it. Ever since he threw the temper tantrum on the sideline now about being traded, you're this. I think I looked at the rankings the other day of like starting quarterbacks. He's just above Sam Darnold. Like, you've played that bad.
Well, and I
you
think
can't blame it all on the coach. I've watched you miss wide open throws. I've watched you hold on to the ball too long and try to play hero ball. This is not all on him, but I'm going to blame Doug Peterson more than I will blame Carson Wentz.
All right, so most blame on Peterson, but some on Wentz. Justin, rebuttal, sir.
No rebuttal. I hate Doug Peterson. I don't like him at all. He's a garbage coach. I've said it from I don't like him. The thing is, I always made fun of Steelers fans with the AB thing when everyone was getting all hype about AB coming in a hot air balloon or some nice car, and I'm like, it's going to be adorable until it all melts
You
down.
did call
It's not
that.
gonna be
You
fun
absolutely called
anymore, right?
that.
But I didn't call it for my own team when I was saying,
Hi, buddy.
how awesome Doug was for making these gutsy play calls on fourth down that all seemed to hit in 2017, and now those same play calls are all failing all the time.
Miserably. They're not even close.
They're not even
close.
So and the thing is, I'm not going to, and I don't know if we'll get into this as far as, keeping or getting rid of Carson Wentz. I'm definitely on the Wentz train still. I think one bad year, and if we get into it, I was looking back at a couple of quarterbacks Kevin and I were talking about before on Facebook for a while. We were talking about Ben had almost an identical season, and I think it was his third or fourth season. It's Wentz's fifth, but for all intents and purposes, fourth because of injury.
Yeah, the year after they won the 2008 Super Bowl, Ben had a travesty of a year.
He had a 17
and after
15,
the 05 one. Yeah.
He had a 17 and 15 season. Wentz had a 16 and 15. And
Matt
Ryan has a similar
compare the
line.
Ben thing. There was so many. Kevin, just bear with me here. You don't have to get mad. There were so many off the field issues that were taking place I don't think he was fully invested in football. Carson Wentz is fully invested in football and still playing like trash.
You'd think. But the thing is, I think that you can look at it though, where if the Steelers gave up on Ben, when we look at Carson with his 27-7 last season, 23-7, 38-7, like the past 3 seasons, you don't go from being a top 10 quarterback in the league to then all of a sudden, I want to see 2 years of, and I know that we can't as a franchise handle 2 more years of this, but I want to see 2 years of that or 3 years of that before I'm ready to say, okay, this guy's just garbage now. I think that
because he proved himself so early.
He proved himself so early. He had a near MVP season, and then the past 2 seasons were very good seasons, top 15 quarterback seasons. I don't know if you can give up on a guy because of that. And then I started to transition a little bit and say, oh, you know what? Jalen Hurts, he's kind of nice. He's been really good. And then he just was garbage after the first 2 games too. Ended up 7 for 20. And all this to say, I don't think it matters who's quarterback. As long as Doug Peterson is calling plays, we aren't going to win more. We're not going to be a 500 team.
Yeah, but you can't hold that on Jalen Hurts. The offense isn't tailored to what he does.
But the thing is, the offense isn't tailored to what any quarterback does because Doug Peterson's play calling is run everyone as far downfield as possible and then have a makeshift line.
Unless that person
old and terrible.
Yeah, run everyone down the field unless that person's a running back.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I looked at the stats this year. Miles Sanders only rushed the ball 164 times.
They didn't run. They did not run.
No,
and he still almost had 1,000 yards.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is our best player by far, and we don't give him the ball. That's Doug Peterson. That isn't a Carson Wentz thing. Our offensive line had 12 different combinations, I think, most in the NFL. That's not Carson Wentz. We can't stay healthy.
Yeah, but I think that falls that falls to your GM not being able to make moves to back up each position.
That too. We had a ragtag band of receivers again. We do every
why do we
year.
keep doing that?
And the thing is, we can talk all we want about Rager, but honestly, I don't know if we picked Justin Jefferson. I don't know if he wouldn't have put up Rager numbers this year because of what we the way that
I think he absolutely would. He made Kirk Cousins look competent.
Yeah, but I think their offense is better.
I mean, not really. How many wins did they finish with?
No, but I mean, they actually run with Dalvin Cook.
Right. They're more of a balanced offense.
And they throw to their receivers. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Eagles are force feed tight ends and throw deep bombs that
also he needs to go too. I'm sorry. Ertz needs to go.
Yeah. I'm thinking the same. But yeah, all that to say, I think that it's mostly on Doug. I think that Wentz I won't sit here and, baby him anymore. I'm definitely a big Wentz fan, but I think that, he definitely had a bad season, but I think he deserves another chance at being a starter. And I don't think Hurts did anything in the 5 games that he started to warrant winning a starting job for next year. He did it with his feet, but
from a non-Eagles fan perspective here, I agree with a lot of what you guys said. I think that while Carson Wentz did have a bad season, I do agree that there were a lot of factors that were out of his control. And I am one that will bash Carson Wentz freely because, in our group chat, Justin bashes Ben. For when Ben has a 400-yard game, he's like, Ben's terrible. So I just like to give Carson Wentz some garbage. But I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a good talent. I do agree. I think he deserves another chance. And I am absolutely a believer in the fact that if for some reason y'all trade him, I think if he goes to Indianapolis, that team's going to win a Super Bowl with him. I think Frank Reich and Carson Wentz together can take the Colts with that defense and a little bit more additions.
Yeah, but nobody's paying for his contract, so we're stuck with him anyway.
Well, here's the thing, though. There are rumors that Carson Wentz would renegotiate.
What do you mean his contract is good?
It's not good, but it's not the worst contract in the world.
Rumors are he would renegotiate for a trade.
Oh, okay. If he's willing to renegotiate, that's a whole different ballgame. But no one's taking his current contract.
They were rumoring the Steelers too, and I said the same thing. I was like, we already are tied up in Ben so much for another year.
$80 million a year.
Yeah, we gave him so much on that extension. There's no way.
Twilight extension.
Yeah, we could bring him
which is
in.
Good to do.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, and I agree, Doug Peterson's got to go, and I don't think he is. I think he's going to stick around for another season or two. That press conference with him and Howie Roseman was an absolute train wreck. It was just general BS the whole time of, hey, well, we believe in Doug and we believe in what we're doing here. And Doug Peterson just sat there and
the first 30 minutes of it.
It was so bad. Yeah. I turned it off. I was like, well, this is not learning anything.
I'm on the fire Doug train. I don't like Doug Peterson at all. But I think the one caveat is if you get a good offensive coordinator, any offensive coordinator at this point, not who we currently have. I don't want any hire from within. I don't want Deuce Staley. I want a freaking outside hire.
I'm not sure I want Deuce Staley either, and I love Deuce Staley.
No, I want an offensive coordinator that's shown proven success. Unfortunately, Deuce can't show proven success with his running backs because Doug wouldn't call a play to run.
You should look among the college ranks for that.
Yeah, I'd like Graham Harrell. There's a couple.
We should go get Dak Prescott.
As quarterback?
He has better career numbers than Carson Wentz does.
Yeah, but I mean,
the only thing Wentz hasn't beaten is touchdowns, and it's by 7.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Dak's contract, he's about to re-up, and we'd have to pay him $1 billion.
Yeah, because he's going to want a huge.
That's fine. Money. He has a proven track record of winning.
There we go, MJ.
Sorry.
Season 3. Winning.
I'm so angry. I hate the Eagles.
But I think if you get an offensive coordinator to work with Carson Wentz and you have Doug as just the figurehead, basically, and the rah-rah guy, I think in 2017, he was a really good rah-rah guy. You know what I'm saying? The reason we all fell in love with Doug was because we had Frank Reich that was kind of pumping the brakes on some of his garbage play calling, but then also he was kind of left to be more motivational and, the positive guy. Now he's motivational, positive guy, but making horrible play calls and he's losing the team.
So, all right, before we move on from the Eagles, I do want to ask this. Do you guys, prediction-wise, do you guys think the Eagles will hold on to Wentz for another season or you think they go in a new direction?
I just found my checkbook. I've been looking for that forever. Anyway, I think they end up holding on to him. One, like MJ said, I don't think his contract is as bad as what we're saying here.
$56 million in dead cap over the next 2 years. If we were,
and I'm not Bobby Bonilla-ing him,
which is what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think it's that bad, but I think it's bad enough that the Eagles are just going to be like, unless you restructure, no,
we can't get good capital
chill,
for you,
because we'd rather have you, even if he ends up losing the starting job.
Remember when I said we overpaid him for 2 straight years? Do you remember that? Do you remember when I said that?
We did it.
Do you remember when I said that?
I remember.
Now we're here,
it.
and now we're here. We overpaid him for no reason.
The thing is, though, worst case scenario, we have the highest paid backup of all time on our bench, and he's a really he's a really good player. So we're all good. He's not a
good player. I'm looking at all his career numbers. He's not.
What about 38-7, 23-7, and 28-7 shows you that he's not a good player? He's the best quarterback in Eagles history as far as passing yards.
That's not good to be the best in Eagles history. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I was going to say Eagles quarterback history outside of Cunningham and McNabb is.
What are you comparing? Doug Peterson started 7 games for the Eagles.
Norm Van Brocklin.
He's the only Eagles quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards, and he did it without.
Wasn't that an Eagles quarterback?
Didn't
Van Brocklin play for the Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's a legend.
He's not worth. He's him and Goff were not worth what they were paid by any stretch of the imagination.
You're comparing him to Jared Goof?
Yeah, I think he's that bad.
I think they're relatively comparable, honestly, too.
At least Jared.
I don't think so. Athletic wise, God no. I think Wentz is way more athletic than Jared Goff.
Gosh,
yeah, I mean, evasive. To avoid. But the thing is, I don't think that Goff ends up having
to with that torn ACL, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, good thing we did that.
Well, that's why he stopped running. But I don't think Goff has to be as evasive because his line isn't Swiss cheese every year either.
That is true. That is a very good point.
But yeah, no, I think the Eagles keep Wentz. I think that a lot of the stuff's blown out of proportion too. I think they end up keeping Doug against my, will here, and I think we end up hiring an offensive coordinator to try to see if we can run it back, and see if Wentz can get back to the previous 3 seasons form where he was a top 10 NFL quarterback.
All right. Well, yeah, we're going to leave it right there. The Eagles, they've got some work to do for sure. I'm sure we'll be talking down the line closer to the draft.
I'll be a Jags fan halfway through next season.
What they should do in the draft. So that's definitely going to be a topic we discuss.
What they should do in the draft? Get a receiver that's not like Deshaun Jackson.
I said we will discuss it.
Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase.
We're going to pass.
You need a linebacker. Don't drag me into this, but you need a linebacker.
Jalen Waddle.
You need a linebacker. Anyway,
receiver, please.
Monday.
Yes, please.
Monday night, the 11th. It's the national championship game, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Alabama Crimson Tide. It's going to be a very good game as long as Ohio State isn't COVID ridden. So here we go.
This is getting pulled down. You can't say that word.
Oh God.
This is you can't say that.
Can I say Corona?
It's gonna have a notification on it that says
about a fact check that's gonna come at me and Justin for saying all those things about the Eagles.
Ohio State is 7-0 because they did not play a lot of games this season compared to the 12-0 Crimson Tide. But
Thank you, Chris Collinsworth. That is in-depth thing you just did.
I don't think I wasn't done my thought. Anyway, I don't think the records matter at all in this case. I do believe that the Alabama Crimson Tide is going to run the table here. I do think it'll be more competitive than if they were playing Clemson, but
let's see over.
I do believe that Alabama is going to come out here and win by at least 10.
MJ, I think it's the highest over of all time in a championship.
I'm reading that.
I don't know if I love an over.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of scoring.
It's going to be Bama. They're -9 right now. I think they win by 2, maybe 3 touchdowns.
What?
I don't think it's close.
Dude, that's a little off, I think.
I don't think it's close.
I think it's a 10-point gap.
The only way that I can see them keep I think they just punch Clemson in the mouth. I think Clemson overlooked them and just assumed they were making the championship as Dabo ranked them number 11 in his poll.
Dude, that's still wild.
Yeah. But I think they overlooked Ohio State being the 4 seed, figured, hey, we're going to win this, get in, rematch against Bama for the 19th straight year. And yeah, they just overlooked them. I think Bama's going to race Ohio State. The only thing I can say, though, is if that Sermon, their running back, he's put together the best 3-week stretch I think I've ever seen a college running back.
It's crazy, man.
Insane.
It's crazy.
That's very Ohio State. Remember Cordell Jones?
All this. It's
a very Ohio State thing to do.
Yeah, he had 300 some yards rushing the other
heck, if it works for you.
So that's one way if they can keep Bama's offense off the field. If not, it's just going to be a track meet. And I pick Bama by at least 2 touchdowns.
I will say I do like Mac Jones over Justin Fields, and I think they're both, the cream of the crop as far as it goes. But
I like Justin Fields, but he's had some duds too. He had a really good game against Clemson. If he puts that together, great. But he also had a dud against Northwestern. Indiana, he didn't look great.
Yeah.
So,
MJ, who are you taking in this?
If I were to bet money on it, not saying I will.
I just went to my active bets in the sports book to see what I picked.
I would take Ohio State on the money line.
Wow. And your reasoning?
To win. I think they're at this whole let's be honest, Ohio's not a great state. I said it. They're against this whole Ohio thing versus the world. And I think Dabo opening up his mouth was the worst thing that could happen. And I think they think Bama thinks the exact same thing.
I'm sure they do think that, and I'm sure Bama actually does think the exact same
Ohio
thing.
State wins this game. I think it's 50-40, somewhere in that range, 47. This will be a 90-point. Just remember last time you didn't take the over, and I told you to take the over, and they went 4 overtimes and scored 90 points total.
Well, do you remember that with 5 minutes left, I was very well under. I was happy.
And then you weren't.
See, and that's the whole thing. That's why I have this game only Bama by 10, because I do believe it's going to be way more competitive than you think, Justin. I'm really shocked you think either of these teams would beat each other by more than 2 touchdowns.
I think Bama's just so good.
They are, but they're also not invincible, I don't think.
They were so good against LSU and then got cracked in the mouth twice.
Yeah. Go Tigers.
That guy, that program.
Najee
I'm starting to
Harris.
figure out how they won a national title with everything that keeps coming out.
Yeah. That was Mizzou's highlight of the year, beating LSU early before everybody knew how bad they were.
First week of the season, and it's
before they knew how bad they were.
It's oh wait, LSU's terrible. That's all.
I mean, real quick. Now while we're talking about college football, can we talk about how Notre Dame got railroaded 2 weeks in a row?
We're not shocked. Neither of us are shocked.
Railroaded 2 weeks in a row?
In a row, you scored a late touchdown that meant nothing. You got railroaded 2 weeks in a row.
I mean, I'd say we got railroaded by Clemson for sure, but
yeah, who do we get railroaded by the game before?
Yeah, I feel like we won the game before.
Oh, we lost to Clemson again. I see what you're saying.
Oh, okay. No, wait.
We lost to Clemson once.
Yeah.
You guys lost 2 weeks in a row.
And then we lost to Bama. I got you.
So
but we didn't get
you shouldn't have been a top
Bama.
4 team, like I said multiple times.
Who? Timeout.
Texas A&M should have been in over you.
Texas A&M? No. Texas.
Yes.
Oh my God. Let's look at best. Well, look at strength of schedule. Texas A&M played freaking no one. Legitimately.
He's got a point here. He has a point here.
The Notre Dame had by far within the top 9 had the best second win. No one else had a good second win.
But why do you keep putting teams in if you know the exact thing that's going to happen? Every time you put Notre Dame in the college playoff, they're going to get destroyed.
But that doesn't matter. It's who's the best option to put in the playoff.
They were.
The thing is,
they absolutely were.
How they got destroyed by Clemson proves that game was a fluke.
We knew it, but they still won the first game.
And it shouldn't be valued as much. It shouldn't be valued as much.
The people that are picking for the playoff cannot value a game based on if they think it's a fluke or not. They value it based on if it's won or lost.
And plus, and they did.
But they look at the circumstances in that game. Trevor Lawrence wasn't there.
Trevor Lawrence
by a touchdown in overtime.
But
Trevor
did we
Lawrence
score
shows up and
40-something
you get
points? Did we
destroyed.
score 40-something points against Clemson's defense that wasn't
Great.
hurt or anyone out
Great, but
earlier?
He comes back. One player changes that whole game, and you get destroyed.
Because he's a Heisman caliber
and
player.
the entire game
So
script changed,
therefore,
but
your
we still
win
put
against him
40-some points up.
it shouldn't be looked at as the same.
It wasn't.
My point is, okay, even if you say that's the one stain on Notre Dame this year, that's not at all something that would keep them out of the top four when you look at
the
who's
thing is,
behind them.
you got boat raced by the second best team in the country, and like when they were at full strength and nothing else, no other losses, won every game. Texas, and you can reference the Louisville game that we won barely, but Texas A&M had I'm looking at what the freaking schedule was because I know that they had a weird game too where they won by like 3 points against someone. Let me see. I mean, they beat LSU's crap team by 13. That's not that bad though. Let me see. I'm looking back. Oh, there it is. Texas A&M, when they were number 5, beat Vanderbilt 17-12.
Okay, and you did the same thing with Louisville.
And we did the same thing with Louisville.
Okay,
so those cancel
those
out.
are a wash. Go on.
All right, those are a wash. Texas A&M's best win. They lost by 28 to Bama, so that would have been the team they played.
They beat Florida when they were 7.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, listen, if and that's their only win. That's their only win the entire season that meant anything. They beat number 7 Florida.
And we saw Florida have a couple duds. So
they beat number 7 Florida by 3, and that's it. They played no one else.
Yeah.
Like, who did they beat? Mississippi State. Arkansas is not good. South Carolina's not good. LSU is bad. Auburn's not great. Tennessee's not good. And then they beat UNC in the Orange Bowl, who Notre Dame beat too. So, like, they didn't play anyone.
Yeah, the schedules aren't comparable.
Yeah. Notre Dame beat North Carolina.
And MJ, here's the thing. Don't get us wrong.
Clemson.
Justin and I have watched enough Notre Dame football to agree with you that when Notre Dame gets in these games, we're going to get blasted. But it's one of those things, who else are you going to put in over them? When you have an undefeated season, including a win over Clemson, which you can call a fluke, but it's still a win.
And you can say it's a fluke, and you can say, like, they're going to get boat raced by Clemson, and you knew they were going to get boat raced by Bama. But we also knew A&M was going to get boat raced by Bama because we saw it earlier in the year. They gave up 54 to Bama.
That was their third game of the year? That was their third game of the year, right?
Yeah.
What does it matter?
And they won 7 in a row.
Look who they played.
Okay, so Bama, who you guys say are up here, nobody's touching them. You think they're beating the win the national title game by 3 touchdowns. So they lost them.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. I'm not pointing at you.
You said you guys.
I said you. Anyway, jeez. Anyway, so they lose that game. We expect them to lose that game. And then they win every other game on their schedule.
For sure. And Notre Dame won every other game on their schedule, just as convincingly or not convincingly against Louisville. And then they beat.
And let me tell you, Vanderbilt is trash.
Kev, they didn't lose it. So's Louisville.
I know, but I'm saying
so let's stop going back to that game. We already said they were both a wash. Stop going back to that game.
And I think that when you look at it, then do you think that Florida at number 7 full strength is better than Clemson without Trevor Lawrence? I don't think they were. I think Clemson without Trevor Lawrence was just as good as Florida full strength.
That's actually probably.
But no, and the thing is, maybe, but
only because of those duds that Florida dropped.
Or give Texas A&M the better win. Say Florida's better than a Lawrence-less Clemson, and then okay, so Texas A&M has a small advantage. Next best win, Notre Dame beats North Carolina. A&M's next best win is Auburn, maybe. Like, I don't know who else their second best win. Like, our second best win was far and away better than theirs. So you compare the schedules, we have slightly better strength of schedule, and then you couldn't put A&M at 3, right? Like, you knew Bama, so you knew Bama was 1, you knew Clemson was 2.
At that time.
Yeah.
Okay, they were
hot.
They were 6-3 at that time. They finished,
they were ranked,
and then
though, weren't they?
They were ranked at the end of the year. They were ranked 13.
Yeah, they finished 8-4. I think they lost one more game.
Yeah, so
against Texas A&M.
But you're acting like it's a massive win, and then A&M blows their doors off.
No. But I'm not saying it's a massive win. A&M beat them by
comparing schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, A&M beat them by 14, And so I wouldn't say it's blowing their doors off. They barely beat them, or not barely, but they beat them by 14.
They beat them. That was, again, late
In the
touchdown scored.
in the
Late
Orange Bowl.
touchdown scored.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying though, like that even if UNC wasn't amazing, they were number 13 at the time. A&M doesn't have a second best win that's even close to that. Auburn is like maybe the only possibility, but Auburn wasn't awesome this year. And the thing is, all that being said, if you get rid of the schedule, A&M could not have been number 3, right? So you were going to put them at number 4. And I think the committee also looked at that and they're like, we can't sneak A&M at 3 to play Clemson. So it's going to have to be A&M Bama. We've seen A&M Bama and we saw them lose 54-26. Like, we know how that game goes, so we can't rematch.
You can't. That was 3 weeks into the season, just coming off COVID's going, everyone can now play again. You can't.
I don't think
as soon as they were able to get everything lined up and everyone back, they win 7 straight. And they won their first 2.
Yeah,
and I'm also looking at the teams. I'm looking at the teams that
Tennessee,
Notre Dame played.
Auburn.
South Florida was garbage. Louisville was garbage. Duke was garbage. Pitt was garbage. Boston College, hold on, let me check.
Garbage.
Oh, garbage.
No,
5-4. 5-4. Cuse, let me check on that one. Oh, 1-10. Yeah, you guys played a real tough schedule.
No, I'm not saying we played a tough schedule.
Okay, they played a better schedule then.
No. I'm saying the next best win, though. You have
okay, the next best win, but you got to look at the body of work.
So, I mean, you beat mediocre
teams. You won 2 big games and
yeah.
then beat garbage teams.
Yeah. And they won one big game against Florida, and then no one.
But I'm saying the rest of the teams that they played have a better schedule and won more games than the teams you played.
All right, we're not going to come to a consensus
Notre Dame has a trash schedule every year, and they'll go back to doing it next year when they leave the ACC.
I think you're upset because Penn State
is trash.
No, I wanted us to quit after the 5th game.
Mizzou would have beaten Penn State this year.
Kevin, everyone would have beat Penn State. You guys act like I was defending them through the year. I was not.
What Penn State did this year on the football field was more egregious than anything that's ever happened in the program's history.
Wow.
And we are definitely moving on.
They should lose
scholarship. Want me to start diving into Notre Dame?
Nope, we're good. We're good.
Let me.
Next week.
We are good. We are good, boys. All right, let's go ahead into the NFL playoffs, gents. The NFL playoffs. Playoffs?
You just put a Steelers hat on?
You betcha.
It's going to be the
playoffs, baby.
Weekend.
It's going to be something, and I'm not excited for it. Honestly, I'm kind of terrified, but we'll get into that. So let me pull up the NFL playoff schedule here.
Oh, I'm so excited for playoffs.
Playoffs?
By the way, while you're pulling that up, do you guys like the one bye week and then the rest are wild card instead of 2 bye weeks? Or
yeah, I do.
Not 2 bye weeks, but 2 bye teams.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, it rewards. It makes the season more competitive. Yes,
absolutely.
I like that a lot.
You got to get that 1 seed. Yeah,
I love the 1 seed being the bye and then the rest just battling it out. That's so fun.
Yeah.
All right. Extra team in. That's great.
Here we go, guys. We're going to start here with the Colts and the Bills on Saturday at 12:05 p.m. This is going to be such a fun football game, but I am giving the edge to the Bills here. I saw them beat my boys pretty darn good. I've seen them beat a lot of teams, really close games, really tough games. Josh Allen has solidified himself as a true starter in the league. Stephon Diggs, holy crap. This guy is.
You have a quarterback that can throw to.
Dude, this guy is killing defenses.
Did you see what Diggs turned Josh Allen? Like, Josh Allen was already pretty good. And what Diggs turned him into, though, is just like having one good receiver is insane.
It changes everything. I do think that the Colts defense will prove a little bit difficult, but I still think that the Bills just have a high-powered offense, and the way they've been playing football, they're going to get a playoff win here. And the fans will be jumping through tables. Give the win to Buffalo.
It's -6.5. Would you take it?
Yes. I think the Bills are going to blow the doors off the Colts.
I think I'd take that.
I think the Bills are the best team in football right now.
The hottest, I think.
The way they ended the year and everything, I think they blow the doors off the Colts.
Yeah, Bills, I was looking at their schedule here earlier today. Their last 3 games, they put up 48, 38, and 56. Again, they're playing the Broncos, Patriots, and Dolphins, so take that for what you will. But They're
But dude,
so
beating
hot.
the Patriots is a big mental win for them, honestly.
Definitely, yeah. And the
That's a
Patriots
big that's a team that's dominated you for 20 years. That's a big mental
a
win.
big 38-9. Like that's huge win.
Just feels
56
good,
last week. I mean, they're going into the playoffs so hot. I would take -6.5. Like I'm gonna put stupid money on that. I think that's so low.
And when Justin doesn't come to the cast next week because his wife is murdered.
Yeah. When we see the Colts pull an upset victory.
We just see Lisa join the cast next week. Justin's gone on a trip. Oh,
Justin's not going to be able to join.
She's wearing my face. You're like, your hair looks way longer than before. I know it was longish, but
she's doing the Dwight from The Office.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The next Saturday game, 3:40 p.m. It's the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. Boys, this is actually my least favorite game on the slate here.
I could care less about this game.
Because I think Seattle has been underperforming for most of the second half of the season. I'm really not convinced by their body of work this year. And also the Rams, I never put faith in Jared Goff. I just don't think either of these teams are going to go very far. But since we have to pick one of them, I'm going to go with LA because, again, I think Seahawks have been playing football that looks like they could lose any given week. MJ?
I don't know.
What's the line on this, boys?
It was -3 earlier today. It's up to -3.5 for Seahawks.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking,
I'd
Seattle.
take Rams at
You know what? Every time I put Seattle in a parlay, they've been the ones to blow it. I'm taking the Rams at +3.5.
Yeah, +3. I'd totally take Rams there, I think.
I also think they're going to win. Like I think they'll more than win. But the Seahawks for the first 6 weeks of the year, we're hearing about how Russell Wilson's so far ahead and above everyone.
He was the MVP the first 6 of the week.
And then they just that game against Arizona, he threw 4 interceptions, 3 interceptions.
Did not look good. Look good.
Yeah, cost me
They barely beat the Eagles.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
They beat us by 6. No.
There were some crap calls, and there were some crap calls in that game. So.
The 2 games that they've played this year, since they're in division, Rams won in November 23-16, and then most recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, like right after Christmas, Seahawks won 20-9. I don't like.
It's not so
that tells me nothing. Like I don't know anything.
Literally tells you nothing.
Like
I'm not looking forward at all to that game.
I don't know if I'm gonna bet it. I think I like the Seahawks. I was going to tease it down to -2 for the Seahawks, but in that case, I'll probably just take the Rams +3.5. I think the Seahawks win by a field goal.
Yeah. And then the nightcap there on the Saturday games, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Washington football team. Hilarious that Washington gets to host this game. Just want to point that out, how funny that is. But Chase Young says he's coming after the GOAT. Let's see how that plays out for him.
That's not happening.
I think Tom Brady's going to drop like 4 touchdowns on this defense, if at minimum. And I think that Tampa Bay ransacks Washington and gets out of there with a big win.
I think the same exact thing. I think what will happen is you're going to see a lot of quick slant routes across the middle. Tom's just going to get the ball out so fast that front line's not going to be able to get to him. And then they're going to destroy that secondary.
Yeah.
Too much firepower, and I'm sorry, man.
Well,
the Bucs have a good defense.
Is Evans?
Is he?
What happened?
I don't know, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to matter.
I mean, even without Evans, you've got Godwin and AB, so whatever. Have fun.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. And honestly, man, I think the Bucs line are going to get to Smith if he starts. He's not mobile at all, and that plays right into their hands. Like when Brady's the most mobile quarterback starting in the game, that tells you right there.
Yeah, this has Sue trying to purposely injure someone that almost died written all over it.
Well, the Eagles tried that the other night, so that was bad.
Yeah.
Good look.
Buccaneers, the thing is, though, they've been so weirdly up and down. Like, I don't know what they're going to win. I know that. It's just line-wise, they're -8. So that always freaks me out, especially in a playoff game.
Yeah, that's a bit big.
Over a touchdown. You never know.
Dude, their losses. I'm looking at their losses. I mean, they lost to the Saints twice. Whatever. Saints are a really good team.
Yeah.
But the Bears loss makes no sense. The Rams loss makes no sense.
They beat the Giants by 2. They beat they lost to the Rams. They
you know what? They almost have that. I mean, I hate to put it this way, but the Steelers have done it so much. I have to say it. They have that Steelers syndrome of they play down to their opponent's level.
Yeah,
and it makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't think I'm even going to touch this game at all. Yeah. The spread or total, I think it's under 44.5. Like, I don't know what to even touch with that, but I think I just don't know how you lose to the Bears 19-20 and then blow the doors off the Packers the very next week. Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
But it is Tom Brady in the playoffs. I'll go the Bucks. Yeah, I'm not betting anything on that though.
All right, the Sunday slate of games, the early one, 12:05. I'm sorry, 1:05 for you East Coasters.
It's okay.
Ravens at Titans. This actually, I think, will be a really, really close game. This is going to be one that's fought really hard. I don't know who's going to win this game either.
I just rolled a little bit looking at it. I was like,
My idea is like, which Ryan Tannehill's going to show up? Which Lamar Jackson's going to show up? Like, there's a lot of variables here. So I am going to go Titans because I like Mike Vrabel and because I do believe in him. And I know, what he did with this team last year, taking them as far as they did. I really believe in what he can do in the playoffs. He's shown that he can win some games. I'm going to go with the Titans over the Ravens, who have had some weird losses this year. Not that the Titans haven't, but,
Hey, what's killing me is if any defense in the world would just figure out, hey, we can't let Lamar throw down the middle, you take away the passing game. You literally take it away. We can't let him throw in the middle.
Yep.
The Titans, man, Tannehill, that just shows how bad it was in Miami when. It shows how bad it was in Miami when he was there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Titans. I think Tannehill has a monster game, and I don't think Henry will, just because he's going to attract so much of the attention. I still think he puts up 60 to 80 yards, but I don't think.
But I think the story is Tannehill in the passing game. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think AJ Brown has a big game.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they played earlier this year, Titans won 30-24 in overtime. I was trying to look at that earlier today. I have it back up now. I mean, Lamar had a classic Lamar game of like 186 passing and 50 rushing. He didn't have a great game at all. So they kind of bottled him up. I don't know. I'm going to go Titans. I'll go Titans. I think Baltimore's actually favored. Yeah, Baltimore's favored by 3.5. So I like the Titans plus 3.5. I think it's just going to be a ground game, the opposite of a shootout. I think each team's going to run 35 plus times.
It's a defensive and running game for sure.
You're telling me when teams have a good running back, they run him? Well, that's a concept.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. The thing is, you would think J.K. Dobbins is better than Miles Sanders because they at least run him 16 times a game.
As a Steelers fan, where our entire history has been predicated on the run and defense, and we don't have a good running back, so it's just like it's a mess.
I think you finished the season ranked 29th in rushing.
It's unreal. The second game on the Sunday slate, the Bears and the Saints. This game will be more interesting than people think. Okay, here's the deal. Saints are definitely the best team in the NFC. I'm not saying that they're not. But the Bears have been putting together some really impressive performances leading into the playoffs that make me think they should not be overlooked. Mitchell Trubisky has actually taken care of the ball and been making some good plays. This defense has really stepped up. They don't have Double Doink as their kicker. I mean, you got to give the Bears a decent look here. I do think the Saints still win, but I'm just saying the Chicago Bears cannot be overlooked by New Orleans because they could win. This is not the Nick Foles Bears.
And if you look at their schedule, Saints did beat the Bears by 3 in overtime earlier this season.
Yeah.
So it was a 3-point game. I mean, now that was beginning of November.
Taysom, or was that
no, it was Drew. It was Drew Brees.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, Drew Brees. I don't believe
Michael Thomas Nick Foles was playing that game.
Nick Foles,
and that's actually a plus then for the Bears because Trubisky's been playing so well.
Yeah, Trubisky has been playing really well. I'll go Saints,
tough.
but now that Kevin says that, and I see what the what ended up happening
What's
last
the
game.
spread?
The spread's -10 for the Saints.
Oh, I wouldn't touch that
Right?
at all.
So like Bears
I
plus
wouldn't
10,
touch
that might not be a bad bet.
No, that's not a bad play.
And David Montgomery has looked out of his mind
Yes,
the
he
past couple
has.
weeks too. He's looked really, really good.
Yes, he has.
Oh, I think I'm putting that in right now. Bears plus 10. And Titans plus 3.5. I'm going back through all my picks here and making sure I pick them. Rams plus 3.5. All right.
Yeah, keep those marked because I think we have similar picks, and I want to put that together. MJ, you're going Saints or Bears here?
I know.
This is so hard.
I'm going.
This will be a fun game.
I'm going Saints. I'm going Saints.
Yeah.
I think they win by, and I also think they win by more than 10. I think that the Bears are finally going to show up and beat the Bears.
We'll find out.
Am I reading this right? Hold on, this can't be right. Michael Thomas had no touchdowns this year.
He got hurt. He was hurt like most of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think he played at all.
Still,
he played like 3 games.
I mean, as good as he is, he should fall into the end zone. Oh yeah, that's the meme I read earlier. It's Dak Prescott had more receiving touchdowns than Michael Thomas this year.
The final game of the weekend is an AFC North second week in a row rematch between the Browns and the Steelers. Boys, first things first. I'm going to give you my fan prediction. I'm terrified. I'm horrified to have to play the Browns again. I am very scared. I am very, very scared because here's why I'm worried, and then I'll give you my pick. But the reason I'm worried about this game is I'm still not a full believer in Baker Mayfield. I'm just not. It's not the fact that I don't think this guy could be good in the league. I think that he could be. But also, we've seen him have enough games where if there's not good pressure on, like if he's not under pressure and needs to be the hero, he doesn't play well. He plays better under pressure than just as a normal quarterback. And we've seen a lot of ebb and flow in his game, a lot of ups and downs. So I'm not ready to write off and say this guy is a legit guy in this league. That being said, he has put together some gems this year. And when you look at the Steelers and who they've lost on defense, the guys that were going to contain him in Dupree, in Bush, and then Spillane, his backup, who ended up playing so well. Like, there's a lot missing from the pass rush that was so dominant early in the year. So TJ Watt's going to have to step up. Tuitt's going to have to get in there. Hayward. And they're going to have to stay healthy. And that's the only way I think that they make Baker Mayfield look like pedestrian Baker Mayfield. On the offensive side of the ball for the Steelers, Ben has to look the way he did in the second half of the last game he played. That was some of the best football he threw all year because he was throwing the deep ball. They were getting connections. They looked like a more complete offense other than the fact that they can't run the football. And here's the thing. If you can't run the ball and you're only doing the short stuff, you're one-dimensional. But if you can at least spread the field, go down the field a little bit, that gives Ben some wiggle room to work with. And I think that's where they can be successful. So if all that comes into play the way that it can, I'm going with the Steelers by 7 at the most. I am taking the Steelers. I do think this could be a 3-point game, and I do think the Browns can win. And do you know how scary it is as a Steelers fan who we haven't played the Browns in the playoffs since 2003? If we lose to Cleveland, I can't leave my house. I know that they're this is a good Cleveland team, but it's still the Browns, boys. It's the Browns. I can't lose to the Browns.
Would you rather lose to the Browns in the wild card or win 4 games in a season, Kevin?
Last time we played them, you know who scored the game-winning touchdown for Pittsburgh? Chris Fuhamatu Ma'afala, the best name in football history.
Bite your tongue.
Anyway, go Steelers. I'm really scared. You guys take this. What's the line, by the way? I didn't even look at
-6, I think, Steelers.
For Pittsburgh? Oh, wow. That's, I think, generous, but I don't think I'd take them at -6, though.
Yeah, I think Steelers beat the Browns 38-7 early on in the season. The Browns didn't have Chubb. And then the Browns obviously beat the Steelers last weekend.
Only
Steelers
by
didn't
a
have
little
Ben.
with a Mason Rudolph comeback there.
So I don't think that tells us much, either of those. I think the Browns keep it on the ground. The one thing I think the Steelers do have going for them, the Browns are getting ravaged by COVID right now.
Yeah.
They're not able to practice. They haven't been able to practice. They don't have their coach for the game.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot going against the Browns right now. Like you said, it's a possibility the Browns could win, but I think that
those rivalry games, man, they're so tough.
I think this is about as good of a draw as the Steelers could have got, is a COVID-ridden team that they already know.
Yeah. Especially like a second week in a row seeing them. Yeah.
The one thing though that does also go against the Steelers that I would say is that I always have a weird feeling about teams that rest their players,
especially when we just got that rhythm. Yeah.
And they have looked bad all year. Rhythm wise, they haven't looked good.
We haven't had rhythm.
You guys
takes a whole half.
You were 11-0, and I was screaming from the mountaintops that they were fake news 11-0. They hadn't played anyone. They were squeaking by. They didn't put a whole game together. I understand.
Ben did look a lot better in the beginning of the year though than he did the last couple games.
Fun fact.
To give credit,
only 7 starters from the Browns played all 16 games this year.
So I'll go.
Speaking of rhythm,
I'm not going. I don't know if I'm going to bet this one at all. Honestly,
I can't. My heart can't take it. I can't bet this game.
I'm going to say it. Browns. I think this is one of those games, Kevin, you just forementioned, where the pressure's on Baker.
It's so scary.
It's so scary. I think defense is going to. This will probably come back to bite me, but I think defense is going to be nothing in this game. I think this is going to be a shootout. I think Ben has a big game. I think Baker has a big game, but I think Chubb and Kamara are just going to – or sorry, not Kamara, Kareem Hunt.
I was going to say, oh, my God, if they had Chubb and Kamara, I'd be setting Browns by 30.
Dude, they stole Kareem Hunt for $15 million. Anyway, I think they're going to if the Browns win –
can I just say real quick, this is hilarious. This is hilarious to me that even now, when we see a Browns team that even looks good, it's still this hard to take them.
No, Kev, I'm not worried about them not being good. It's all the COVID nonsense.
If they didn't have COVID,
if they were at full strength, I'm taking the Browns.
I'd probably take the Browns too.
Interesting.
But they're not, and I don't think I can take them.
Yeah, and the home field advantage doesn't really count this year, which is kind of a bummer.
Did you see The Simpsons called another thing?
No.
The Simpsons had the Bills in the playoffs with socially distanced fans a couple of years ago.
Dude, they have some
they're on top
over
of stuff.
That's real scary.
They literally had it's Homer sitting in the crowd, and the next closest guy is like diagonal from him, and it's the Bills in the playoffs.
All right, boys. Well, that's where we have it. So this is, it's going to be very interesting.
I don't want to do Browns +6, but I'm doing Browns +6.
And we're finishing up here now with the NHL. The NHL season is going to start next Wednesday night. We've got a triple header of games. It's a new look for the NHL. They have realigned divisions this year, which we're going to get into a little bit, because while I like some of the idea, I kind of hate some of the idea. So let me go ahead and find these divisions here. All right. So, wait, where are we at here?
Wait, where are we? Where did we go?
We're in the Central.
Oh, we are going to finish dead last in that division.
I just realized that I picked four of the 5 games that I actually bet for the weekend in NFL were the dogs on the spread. I don't like that.
So, boys, what I kind of want to do here first, I just want to look at these divisions here. So again, the NHL has broken into geographically safer, I guess, areas because of the pandemic. But I got to point out just a couple weird things about this. So, and I guess it is difficult to throw some of these in there because you have some interestingly placed teams. But looking at the Central Division, how the heck are the St. Louis Blues not in the Central Division? You could easily put the Dallas Stars, who are currently in the Central, in the West, and put the Blues in the Central. Not entirely sure why that's a thing.
Wait a minute.
Dallas is further west than St. Louis, so I don't really get that one. Tampa Bay could have been in the East, but again, all those other teams, I mean, it just makes you could have put the Penguins, I guess, in the Central because they're further, like, near Ohio. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird.
Like, Dallas is pretty dead central. It's like literally in the middle of the country.
Yeah,
if you're looking at a map, it it is pretty much.
But I'm saying,
yeah, but it's further west than St. Louis.
Yeah, it's to the east of. Like, that's what I don't get. It doesn't make any sense to me when it comes to those two, at least. Like, I don't mind if Dallas is in the Central, but why is St. Louis not? It's kind of crazy.
I love there being a fully Canadian division.
That is awesome. That is the thing I love. That there is just, we're going to see some awesome Canadian hockey going on.
Oh, they're missing one. Where's that trash can?
Ooh, USA.
They're missing a team there. Where's that trash can at?
But the team, of course, that we're very interested to see.
That'd be so
Coming
bad.
up
Kevin,
here.
I can't get my hopes up for anything else. I got my hopes up for Duke. They're garbage. I got my hopes up for the Eagles. They were trash. Pistons.
Your rookie got hurt. Your other rookie's pretty good, though.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and go division by division, boys. And I want you to kind of give your little outlook and who you think is going to win each division. We'll start with the Central. I do think this is, again, going to be this will be the Lightning, the defending Stanley Cup champs. They're healthier. They've got such great players. I think Braden Point's going to have a humongous year. They do have Kucherov out for the season, which is a huge loss, but they still have Victor Hedman. They still have Vasilevsky in goal. I mean, they've got such studs on that team. I do believe that the Lightning win that division. I will say this about our Detroit Red Wings, though, MJ. I am a lot more excited about them in the sense that I think they're actually going to be competitive. They're not going to be as bad as they were last year. I can safely say that. It's harder to be worse than you were last year. I do trust what Steve Yzerman has done. They got new guys like Nemesnikov, Bobby Ryan. They've got some veteran help
You're
there.
making up words right now.
to make this team have a lot more solidified lines. They have a new goalie in Thomas Greiss. I am definitely way more excited to watch Detroit this year than in years past. In Stevie, we trust. That being said, they're going to get train wrecked by a lot of these teams, but I do think that they're going to look better. But the Lightning take the Central. MJ, who you taking?
I mean, I'm going with the Stanley Cup winners. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Lightning. Also, I don't like the way they broke these up, honestly. They should have just had one large campus where all the teams were. Because after seeing all the feedback from the bubble, every coach and hockey player loved the fact that even the guys that lost were sad they had to leave. They got to drink and they got to play hockey constantly.
So they were just hanging out.
I understand why they did it, but I think a massive bubble would have been a lot more fun. I think we would have had more fights too. But I think Tampa Bay wins it. I think they're going to keep rolling. Is it Dallas that we think's on the downturn? They're the guy they pretty much
Dallas
missed their window
may have
year.
had a fluke season, honestly. I
Really?
don't know the story on them yet until I see what they do this year.
Tyler Sagan's out, I think, until
Isn't Benny Bishop hurt too?
I think so. I know Sagan's out until April, I'm pretty sure.
Yeesh, that's real bad.
Which at that point, it's like, what are we even doing?
Yeah, that's real bad. That's real bad.
Hey, Kev, I'm looking at the odds to win the Central right now.
Plus 45 for the Red Wings? Plus 4,500?
Is that what it is?
Plus 3,000.
That's what you got?
I'll put $5 on that.
They're at
worthy play.
They're at plus 3,000. So, but they have the Hurricanes right behind the Lightning. Oh, they have Dallas.
That
at number
doesn't
3.
surprise me.
They have Dallas at number 3 at plus 450.
Yeah.
And because of last year, I would assume.
Yeah.
But with these injuries, I don't think that ends up. The Hurricanes are actually who Detroit opens with, which is not going to be fun because they're really good.
You know
the
what?
Thing is
I'm putting 50 on the Red Wings to win this division.
50?
50.
Bro, I have been a diehard Wings
if you
fan
have $50 to give away, though, I mean, it's why not?
Yeah, true, I guess, but you're donating at that point, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
remember when all those people put money on Leicester City that wasn't supposed to win?
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
Boom.
That's fair. What would you win at that? 50 for
$5,000?
Yeah. I put
or no. $500.
At 3,000.
What are they? Plus
3. $10 wins 300, so 50 would win 500.
Yeah.
Screw it. Let's just throw a stack on it and we'll see what happens.
I had the Patriots plus 10,000 mid-year to win the Super Bowl. So I just put $1 on it because I was like, I'll literally just win $100 for no reason. But they didn't win, so It's okay.
Didn't Cam Newton throw for 9 touchdowns? Did I read that right? Or it was something like that?
He had a pretty bad year. Yeah, he had a bad year. But
Justin, what's your thoughts on the Central?
Lightning for sure, but I think that the thing is in this division, there's not too many dark horses. I think Dallas is on a downturn. I don't think Nashville's a division winner. Columbus is strangely low for me. I feel like Columbus.
Did you see, by the way, they might be shopping Line, or they might be trying to get Line from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
They might be shopping. What's his name?
Atkinson?
Pierre Delac, I think.
Yeah. He's good.
They might do an even swap, which that'd be crazy. Line in there.
Yeah. I'll definitely stick with Tampa with the Hurricanes being, a possible second.
Yeah, and the one other thing I'll say that I'm at least excited about in the Central is we get that Red Wings Blackhawks rivalry again. That we lost when the Red Wings moved to the Eastern Conference, so that'll be fun.
Unfortunately,
and they're both
it's
not
going to
that
be like
great.
two people with no arms trying to fight, but
there will be good fights, I think. The East Division, Justin, your Fly Guys. I do believe they actually have a shot to take the division this year. When you have some healthier people, you got Lindblom back, you've got Nolan Patrick. You've got some guys on that roster that can really, get out there and get after it. The Capitals, I don't know why people are as high on the Capitals as they are. I mean, they just got a Zdeno Chara who's super old, and that's just going to be weird seeing him in that uniform. You've got a couple different. I mean, you don't have Holtby anymore. It's a very interesting situation in Washington. The Bruins also look a little bit different. Honest to God, I cannot believe I'm doing this because I hate the Flyers, but I'm going to take the Flyers to be the division winners here. I do think, though, that the Sabres could actually be a big threat to them with the young talent on that squad. Islanders, of course, don't overlook them either, but Barzal's holding out right now, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. But this could be a pretty close race in the East, but I'm going to give the edge to Philly.
I can't do anything with anything related to Philly. So
it's the Flyers. They're not going to win.
Yeah, they'll get your hopes right here.
Oh, they're going to go on a 17-game win streak and then immediately a 14-game losing streak like they always do.
The Flyers are the equivalent to either the O's in the first half of the MLB season or the Mets in the second half of the MLB season.
Yeah.
Speaking of, shout out to the Mets getting Francisco Lindor. What a deal for them.
And Carrasco, I think, too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I feel like you just made up a word.
I think it's Bruins here.
Really?
Yeah, I think Bruins. I think that the Flyers make a push for it. I think they'll be like 2-3, something like that. So I don't think it's like going to be awful. But yeah, I'd say Bruins second, or Bruins first, Capitals second, Flyers probably third or fourth. Because the Islanders, they did wonders last year after losing Tavares. Barzal's insane. Did he get hurt or no?
No, he's holding out.
Oh, he's holding out. That's right. I knew there was something weird with him.
Yeah, that's a bigger issue, I think.
Yeah, but I'll go like Bruins, Caps, Flyers, probably top 3.
Caps before Philly? Oh, I don't think so.
According to this article, I don't know how old it is. Give me a second. January 7th. It's today. Bruins are plus 250 and the Flyers are plus 300.
Well, it's the third team.
Penguins
Caps.
are at plus 450.
Really?
And then Caps at plus 5, Islanders at plus 6, Rangers at plus 7, and then we make a little bit of a jump.
Rangers at plus 7. Interesting.
The Sabres are at plus 1,000, and then the Devils are at plus 6.
Rangers are only plus 7 because of Lafreniere.
I might take the Caps at plus 500.
I
don't think they're going to, but there's a chance they could.
That could be.
I read an article that said FanDuel would be legal in this state. What's going on?
Dude, I'm waiting for that too. So Missouri actually had in the spring, it was going to be on the docket to vote for legalizing like FanDuel and DraftKings sportsbooks. And then when the pandemic hit, they were like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and put that off. I'm like, this is the perfect time for you to give us online sports betting.
Did you see in the month of was it December? No, November. Vegas processed $540 million worth of betting and won $66 million of it.
It's tremendous. So yeah, MJ, who did you say you were taking in the East? Justin said Bruins, but
I'll take the Bruins. Yeah,
you're gonna take the Bruins. Okay. The West Division, the Blues. Weird that they're there. Coyotes, Ducks, Sharks, Kings, Avs, Knights, and Wild. Oh God, this is actually kind of a trash division.
That's a weird one.
The Blues have really lost some steam since they won the Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go with the Avs here. I think the Avs still have the strongest team out of all these guys. They didn't really lose much. Nemesnikov went to Detroit, but other than that, they haven't really lost any big players. So I'm going to go with Colorado here. I think the Golden Knights, of course, would be the second pick. But after that, I think there's a pretty big gap between a lot of these teams. The Ducks are not good. The Wild are meh. The Sharks have not been good. The Kings, good luck. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Colorado for sure. MJ or Justin?
I'm going Vegas.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm between.
What are the odds? What are the odds?
Avalanche are at plus 180, and the Vegas are at plus 200. So that's close. And then
That's
there's
actually close. That's close.
there's a big jump right after that because it goes St. Louis plus 450. And then it goes the Coyotes plus 900. And then the Wild, Sharks, and Kings are all – the Wild and Sharks are plus 1,000. Kings are plus 1,200. And then the Ducks are plus 1,400. So I think the Knights could edge that out.
Yeah, I think Colorado is probably my actual pick, with the Blues being my second pick. I'm not saying that I think the Golden Knights could definitely be first, but I think that the Blues having better odds or higher odds. I like that. Yeah. They lost Pietrangelo. They got didn't they get what's his face from Boston?
Boston
defenseman Krug.
I got Tari Krug, kid.
They got Krog and Hoffman. So
Krog and Hoffman.
Yeah, so they'll be decent. Yeah. But I'll go Colorado.
And then finally, the North Division, basically Canada. It's just Canada. This is going to be such a fun division to keep track of. And I'm going to say this because, Justin, you and I think, have this conversation every year leading up into the NHL season. Every year, the best team in Canada on paper is Toronto the last couple of years.
I'd love Toronto.
But yet again, I'm not picking them because they continually disappoint during the regular season. I actually think this year is finally the year that the Oilers really take a step forward with, obviously McDavid leading the way there with
$20 each. Let's put it on the Senators to win that division.
That's not a really terrible pick.
They're plus the Senators have made. Come on,
dude. The Senators have made a ton of offseason acquisitions.
They're plus 10,000. You never know.
Yeah. No, but I absolutely love what the Edmonton Oilers have done. I mean, it's just one of those things where you've got such great talent on that team. But I mean, McDavid, and not only that, but Leon Draisaitl, basically, I think he had more points than McDavid last year. McDavid had like a crazy amount of points. So you've got those guys, Dominic Cahoon. It's insane the kind of guys that they have. Ethan Bear is Ethan Bear is a stud defenseman.
Shoulder check.
So I really do think that that the Oilers take a step forward in this one and take the Canadian division. So I'm blowing past it, boys. Justin, who are you taking in the Canadian division?
Well, jeez, I'm gonna continue with my Leafs love.
But you're wrong every time.
Exactly, but that means that I have to be right at some point soon.
No, it doesn't.
Ask my DraftKings account while I keep making deposits. Dude, I went on a heater for a while of like 28, 29 straight wins where I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I didn't win during the college football season. I think the last 3 weeks, I lost almost every bet that I made. Like legitimately, it was like 1 in like 57 or something.
Dude, was it 2 weeks ago? It was the Rockets' third game when they played Denver, I think. I did an in-game parlay. I'm picking players that have no business being picked. Yeah, they'll score over that many points. I check it the next morning. James Harden was at 34.5. He scored 34.
Oh.
He missed 6 free throws. I'm like,
no.
Why?
Yeah, I've actually been making a ton of money on NBA. like live quarter spreads, like
by the way,
first quarter?
Speaking of sports gambling, I have a friend that this past weekend he put together a FanDuel lineup, didn't check it all day until the Raiders-Broncos game. He was number one of 400,000 people at $300,000 on a $4.40 entry fee. He said he wished he never looked because then he wouldn't have got excited. Waller caught a pass that knocked him to second. Waller got the 2-point conversion that knocked him to third. And then because, the Broncos are idiots, they went for a field goal and they blocked it. That knocked him to fourth, won $20,000 on a $4 entry.
Oh, that's not a bad consolation.
But he said it like this. He's like, did I lose 280 or did I win?
Yeah.
But literally the last minute of the game cost him $280,000.
So MJ, who's your take in the North?
I want to say the Senators now, but that's ridiculous.
Take Toronto.
No, I don't watch a lot of hockey, but I watch enough to know that they screw the pooch every year.
Yeah,
every year.
A year better. They're a young team.
The Oilers.
Better.
Oilers, all right.
Yeah, but the Oilers goaltending's booty.
It might not need to matter.
True. I mean, they'll score 4 or 5 a game. So
Yeah, it might not matter. Yeah. All right, time for the way too early Stanley Cup championship pick, boys.
Oh my God.
Yep. We do it every year. Justin, who's your Stanley Cup champion for the 2021 season?
Hold on. Let me pull up my divisions again so I can make sure it's not going to be the Leafs.
Good.
Let me see.
Kev, I'm taking the Carolina Hurricanes.
Wait, how is the playoffs even set up this year?
No
clue.
clue.
With teams that make it and teams that don't.
I know that, but normally they do the top 8 in each conference, but there's not conferences, are there?
No, it's just divisions.
I don't know what the heck's happening. Why can I not get it so that my divisions are all together? There we go. Now we're good. Colorado, maybe?
So MJ, you have the Hurricanes, you have Colorado.
I'm taking the Carolina Hurricanes.
I am going to say, oh God.
Pick the Flyers.
They were up there for me, but I'm going to go back-to-back repeat with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Flyers are plus 15.
So make sure we mark those down so we can remember if any of us.
I'm going to bet mine right now.
Guys, I mean, we honestly don't have to mark them down. We just have to come back and watch this. We'll know what we said.
Oh, my phone died. I can't bet it. Come on.
So yeah, it's going to be an awesome season. I cannot wait for the puck to drop next week.
Whoa. I don't know.
Let's move into our
Detroit's plus 15,000 to win the cup.
$5, putting it down. Team. Putting it down, baby. Stevie Y magic right here.
They're bad.
They're so bad. That's why
they're not. Yes, they're bad. Yes, they're bad, but they're not as bad as last year.
Kevin, that's like comparing dog crap to horse crap. It's still
crap. It is, but it's easier to pick up
with a smaller bag.
Horse crap's actually useful. Dog crap is not.
All right, fair point.
And it tastes.
All right, last things last, boys. MJ, starting with you. What's your LTL for kicking off season 3 here?
I don't know what I want to talk about here because there's so much. I think I'm going to go with Duke not being that good. It's very rare for them not to be that good. I think did they get back above 500?
Duke, I literally haven't even been paying attention to them anymore because both of our teams are so bad.
Mizzou's ranked.
Mizzou, yeah, but didn't they?
Mizzou is fake news. They are fake news.
They just lost.
Yeah, Duke's 21 in the country. Do you know how I'm not used to seeing that?
They're not doing
and Kentucky's awful. Garbage. Well, that's Calipari's fault.
Kentucky went on a run of bad games to start the season. I think
they played top 10 teams back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
I'm very not impressed with Duke considering the class they usually get every year. I think they're still – I don't know what's going on. I mean,
they're 4. They haven't played that many games. Did they have a COVID deal? Because I know they're 4-2, and the rest of the teams have played like 10 or 12 games.
Hold on. To be announced. Oh yeah, they missed the Georgia Tech. Oh wait, no, these would TBD be?
No,
because
it's
they're not
like upcoming.
Yeah, but all the rest of the games of their season are laid out. I don't know why these are not. They might be the COVID games.
I know UNC. They're 7-4. They haven't been awesome.
No,
they got housed by Iowa. That one.
I just think, I'm so used to seeing them being in the top 10 that I'm kind of worried. This may be the one year where I don't make a bracket that has Duke winning.
Well, I think Coach K's teams always, for years and years and years, were like 3rd or 4th year guys. And I think that the one and done deal is actually catching up to Duke a little bit. I don't know if they were built for this.
But that's when they started winning more, when he finally accepted the one and dones. But I see what you're saying.
Sort of.
They've always had a ridiculous freshman, but they've had 2 or 3 juniors or seniors to balance that out.
Exactly.
And they don't.
And when
have
you
that
have
right now.
when you have Zion, RJ Barrett, and Cam Reddish all come to your school and all leave in 1 year, it's kind of like a gut punch when when you don't win it. But
yeah, I really don't recognize one name on this roster right now. Wendell Moore. That's the only one I recognize. But yeah, my last thing's last. Duke not being in the top 10 throwing me off.
Justin?
Who, me?
He's trying to think of one, Kevin. Give him a minute.
No, I literally just had one and now I lost it, but it's going to come back to me. Don't you? Oh, got it. This James Harden deal. There's all this talk about how he's going to get traded. He's demanding a trade, wants to force his way out to Brooklyn. What Brooklyn had to give them involved Spencer Dinwiddie, and then Dinwiddie tears his ACL, and now it's like, or Achilles, whatever it was. And now that's kind of a weird thing. But there's all this talk about the Sixers and James Harden, putting Daryl Morey back with James Harden. And the main piece of the whole puzzle is Ben Simmons. And then to start the season now, the Sixers are 6-1 and just outscoring everyone. And Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid all of a sudden can play together, and Seth Curry shooting lights out.
It's because you have a Hall of Fame coach.
And they look amazing. So my last thing's last is, I don't know if it makes sense to get rid of Ben Simmons at this point now. I know James Harden's better, but like, I feel like that's a weird match with like him and Joel Embiid. I don't know if you shake up the chemistry that's going on right now, because they're obviously doing really well.
I don't think Harden fits anywhere. Honestly, no one's going to give up the assets to get him, knowing he wants full control of the franchise, and his ball usage. That's not going to work with Embiid. I mean, Howard didn't work with him. Capella didn't work with him. I mean, and Embiid's going to clog up the lane, which, when Harden does put his head down, he goes to the lane. I mean, look how many times he goes to the free throw line. I think the Rockets are stuck with him until he's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see anyone giving up the capital that the Rockets want.
I see a team doing it just for the publicity, jersey sales, like get him in, but I don't think that it's going to be a contender like it was supposed to be. Like it was supposed to be Brooklyn's, Miami, Philly. It was supposed to be
Miami why Miami ever consider that? Their team is fine.
Well, Miami was talking Hero, Duncan Robinson, maybe the new rookie that we got, who's basically Bam 2.0.
Yeah, let's get rid of 2 of the guys that got you to the finals. That makes a ton of sense.
And then like 4 picks. And I guess Pat Riley just said like publicly that they're out on James Harden now, because like why? But
that's too much.
And I don't think him and Jimmy Butler get along whatsoever, dude.
No. And I think it's one of those weird things.
Second that Harden's not showing up to like meetings or anything.
Yep. I think it's one of those weird things where Harden is maybe a top 10, 15 all-time great offensive player.
Regular season offensive player.
Regular season for sure. I don't think his style you can win in the playoffs with.
No.
Yeah. So I think that you mortgage your entire team. Like if you're the Sixers, there's a chance they can make the championship this year. I think you mortgage that for possibly more regular season success, but then you're going to get blasted in the finals, or not even the finals, second round, when James Harden's shooting 2 of 18 every game.
Yeah. My last things last is that there is a team that is not in the NFL playoffs that should have been, and it's all their fault. The Miami Dolphins, who I still think are a season or two away because that defense needs to be beefed up. I guarantee you they would have won a playoff spot this year had they played Fitzmagic all year instead of Tua. There was no reason for Brian Flores to say, let's throw this young guy in already when we're winning with this guy. Everybody likes playing with this guy. Let Tua continue to grow and learn. And he threw him in too early, and look what happened. Tua did not have a great season. He had a couple decent games, did not have a great season. And it's because they did what the Browns have done for so many years, throw a guy in too soon, and he just gets demolished. I guarantee you that this team would not have been in a need help situation had they played Fitzpatrick for the bulk of the season. So I think that's on Brian Flores, who did coach a great year. And I think the Dolphins they got some great time ahead, but that's a miss for me. You got to play the guy that's winning you games.
Yeah, I was completely blown away by them putting Tua in. And if you're looking at Tua compared to the other rookies from this year and last year, he's nowhere near any of them.
Not that great.
Any of them.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of almost knew that going into the draft and everything. Like, Herbert and Burrow put up numbers,
right,
passing wise. Tua was.
I think Burrow's going to come back and be a stud.
I think Tua was just at Alabama. I think that's what it was.
Tua's at Alabama, and the people that it was between who the first Bama receiver was going to be was Jerry Jeudy or Henry Ruggs. And then, they had Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith, who are both going to be first round picks this year. So we had 4 of the best receivers in college football last year.
Yeah.
You're going to win some games, and you're going to look pretty good.
It's although I think the LSU year, statistically, that was the best offense ever in college football. Burrow is one of the main reasons for that. That guy was, as soon as he got cracked, that one what game was that when he got absolutely demolished and then just went on a tear from there?
I don't know what game it was. Do you know he was it plus 2,000 or plus 20,000? It was plus 2 something. I think it was 2,000. He was for Heisman at the beginning of that year.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah,
because he was just a transfer. He was a transfer from Ohio State, just a no name kid who couldn't get on the field, and then he just torched the league. I
think Justin will agree with this. I want to throw one more thing. Giants fans, get over yourself. How about not be garbage the whole year? Then you don't have to depend on a 4-win
And this is in the history of sports. Any team that is complaining that another team didn't help them win, that's on you because you didn't help yourself win.
They're not respecting the sanctity of the game, and Bob, shut up.
I mean, they did, but that's not for the Giants.
Is it wildly unreasonable? I don't know. The team that took out Carson Wentz, who's had 3 straight great years, and took him out having a bad year. Is it totally out of the question when a quarterback goes 7 for 20 with an interception that you're like, hey, you have a 20% quarterback rating. Maybe we're going to throw our backup in here quick. It's not like Hurts was throwing for freaking 400 yards and they're like, take it out. We don't want to win. Like, he was trash. They said in the media at the beginning of the game or before the game even started, like it was 10 hours, 12 hours before the game started. And there were tweets about how Doug Peterson said they're going to get Sudfeld playing time. Like, it was planned from the beginning of the game. Hurts had a freaking awful game. He had a good game running, but
again, like the Giants coach, was it Joe Judge?
Yeah,
Joe Judge.
All high and mighty.
Give me a break.
I think just from that, I hate the Giants more than I hate the Cowboys now. Like, legitimately, when I saw Joe Judge start being all freaking holy about, I was like, oh, you piece of guy. I hope we smash you 2 times next year. Like, I don't even care about the Cowboys anymore. Like, screw the Giants. Hate them.
That was like was a couple years ago. The Cardinals needed like 9 teams to do things in the last week of the season,
so that they could get it at 9 and
1 team doesn't do it. Oh, we were so close. No, you weren't.
Yeah, you were not close.
Do you know, Kev? Do you know who the Steelers depended on to get into the playoffs? No one. They just won their games.
Yeah. That's how it works. Garbage. All right, boys. This was great. Excited for more to come this season here on the Last Things Last podcast. Go ahead and give us a like, subscribe, share with your friends. get involved in the conversation, and enjoy this weekend of playoff football. Yeah, it's going to be pretty great. And also the NHL season starting next Wednesday. We'll have a cast next Thursday to talk about the first night of hockey. So
and change all of our Stanley Cup picks.
yeah. We're all going to be like, wow, we were way off. All right, guys.